Every town has a house that holds its breath. On Chestnut Lane, it was the old Miller place. It sat at the end of the street, a silent sentinel. Its yellow paint long faded to gray. Windows were boarded up. The yard a jungle of weeds and forgotten toys. A rusted tricycle lay abandoned near the porch. The house whispered stories but never gave up its secrets. Not until now. The rumors were thick. The Miller family, Mr. and Mrs. Miller and their little girl Lily, vanished overnight. Some said they ran from debts. Others whispered of strange lights and the sound of a child crying. Long after the family was gone, no one dared get close. The house had a presence, an invisible fence that kept the curious away. For 12 years the house stood empty, or so everyone thought. Seasons changed. Snow covered the tricycle, wildflowers pushed through the driveway. Kids dared each other to touch the front door, but few ever did. The house felt wounded, a scar on the perfect face of the neighborhood. Police investigated, found nothing, no struggle, no forwarding address. The case went cold. The Miller house became a footnote, a ghost story to scare children. But some mysteries don't stay buried forever. Sometimes all it takes is one loose thread to unravel a story more terrifying than any ghost tale. And this story was still happening, right under their noses. The house waited, holding its breath, for someone to finally listen. It was more than just abandoned. It was a wound that never healed. The silence around it grew heavier with each passing year. The neighborhood moved on, but the house remained. A constant, unsettling reminder. The Miller family's disappearance was a question no one could answer. But the answer was waiting, just beneath the surface. All it needed was a spark. And that spark was about to arrive. The story of the house on Chestnut Lane was far from over. The summer of 2025 was blistering. Two teenagers, Mark and David, craved adventure. Bored with video games, they set their sights on the Miller house, the ultimate dare. Armed with flashlights and a crowbar, they crept to the back of the house. The back door was sealed, but a basement window gave way. Cool, musty air greeted them, a place sealed off from the world. Their flashlights cut through the gloom. Then, tap, tap, tap. Not a pipe, but a signal. They turned to run. Then a voice, small and weak. "Help me!" Shocked, the boys realized someone was trapped. They scrambled for their phones, dialing 911. The legend of the Miller house was about to become a headline. They had found a life in the darkness. The Miller house was no longer just a story. The world was about to meet Lily Miller, and nothing would ever be the same. Police arrived first, finding Mark and David frantic by the broken window. The officers, skeptical but alert, called into the darkness. "This is the police, is anyone there?" A faint voice replied, "Yes, please, help me." Sirens filled Chestnut Lane, neighbors gathered, whispering in shock. Firefighters brought heavy tools, attacking the front door. The house resisted, but finally gave way, revealing a tomb-like interior. Furniture draped in sheets, dust thick in the air. The rescue team moved quickly, following the faint sounds below. In the kitchen, they found a bolted door, rusted, stubborn. It took all their strength to pry it open. Down steep stairs, flashlights swept the cold, cluttered basement. In the corner on a filthy mattress was a young woman. Her hair was matted, her clothes in tatters. She blinked at the lights, eyes wide with fear and disbelief. After 12 years, the world had come for her. The secret of the Miller house was out. The girl in the basement was real. The rescue was swift, but the shock lingered. The neighbors watched, stunned, as the truth emerged from the darkness. The legend had become a nightmare. The house had finally given up its secret. Lily Miller was alive, and the world would never be the same. The young woman was Lily Miller, 18, but with the haunted look of someone much older. Her skin was pale, her eyes huge and unblinking. Paramedic Sarah approached gently. "You're safe now," she whispered. Lily stared, not understanding. Years of neglect were etched into her thin frame. She flinched at Sarah's touch, the first human contact in 12 years. Patiently, they helped Lily to her feet. Her legs trembled, unable to hold her. Two firefighters carried her up the stairs, out of the darkness. Sunlight sliced through a grimy window, blinding her. It was the first sunlight she'd seen since she was 6. Outside, the crowd gasped. The missing girl had returned. Lily was placed on a stretcher, covered with a blanket. She looked at the sky, the trees, the faces, everything a blur of color and sound. The world was overwhelming, loud and bright. After 12 years of silence, Lily was free. The neighborhood watched in stunned silence. The legend had a face, and it was Lily's. The house on Chestnut Lane had finally released its captive. The world rushed in and Lily Miller stepped into the light. The story was no longer a rumor, it was a rescue. And it was only the beginning. The darkness was behind her, but the journey ahead would be just as daunting. How did Lily survive? The answer was in the basement. It was a prison, but one designed for long-term captivity. A crude toilet, a dripping faucet, her only water, a pile of canned food and a manual can opener. Someone had locked her in but kept her alive. Police found journals, her father's. The entries revealed a descent into madness. He believed the world outside was poisoned, dangerous. He built a bunker to protect Lily from an imagined apocalypse. At first he visited daily, bringing food and books. Then his visits grew erratic, his words stranger. One day he simply stopped coming. Lily was 6, alone in the dark. She measured time by the drip of the faucet, watched spiders spin webs, read the same books until they fell apart. She talked to herself, tapped on pipes, hoping someone would hear. For 12 years she tapped. For 12 years, she hoped. She survived on canned peaches and sheer will. Her memories were fragments, her father's voice, the promise of safety, the crushing loneliness. The world above moved on, but Lily endured. The basement became her universe. The tapping was her only connection to hope. She never stopped believing someone would come. And finally someone did. The truth was more chilling than any ghost story. Lily's survival was a testament to her strength. The house had hidden her, but it could not erase her will to live. The legend was over. The reality was far more haunting. Lily Miller had survived the unimaginable. In the hospital, Lily began the slow process of returning to the world. Doctors and therapists worked tirelessly. Her body was frail, but her spirit was strong. At first, she didn't speak, just watched, wide-eyed. The world was new, the softness of a bed, the taste of fruit, sunlight through a window. Her first words were hesitant. She asked for names, for the day. Time was a foreign concept. Her life had been one endless night. She shared fragments of her story, the darkness, the cold, the fear. She remembered a mouse she named Pip, her only friend. She drew pictures on the walls, suns, trees, a yellow door. These small acts kept her mind from breaking. Police discovered her parents' fate, a murder-suicide, her father's final act of madness. Lily was the sole survivor of her family's tragedy. News of Lily's rescue stunned the town. The Miller house was no longer a ghost story, it was a house of horrors. Neighbors felt guilt and disbelief. How could this happen so close for so long? Flowers and teddy bears piled up on the lawn. The tricycle became a memorial. People remembered rumors, faint noises, but no one acted. The what-ifs haunted them. Mark and David, the teenagers who found Lily, were hailed as heroes. They insisted they just did what anyone would do, but they did what no one else had. Their courage was a reminder. Sometimes all it takes is listening. The town rallied, raising funds for Lily. Donations poured in. People wanted to help her reclaim her life. The community, once paralyzed by shock, was galvanized into action. They couldn't change the past, but they could give Lily a future. The world was not as dark as her father believed, and Lily was not alone anymore. Lily's recovery was a journey of small victories. Learning to walk, to trust, to speak, each step was monumental. Therapists used art and music to help her express what words could not. She painted suns and flowers, creating the childhood she never had. The darkness lingered, but she was learning to let in the light. A foster family welcomed her, teaching her to ride a bike, to laugh, to live. The ocean, the beach, the sound of waves, everything was new. Nightmares still haunted her, but she was not alone. She had support, love, and a community rooting for her. Healing was not a straight line, but Lily was moving forward. She learned it was okay to be scared, to have bad days. The scars were deep, but she was building a new life. For the first time, she was not walking the road alone. The world was wide, and Lily was ready to explore it. The journey was long, but hope was finally within reach. Years have passed. The house on Chestnut Lane is gone, replaced by a park filled with laughter. Lily finished high school, dreams of becoming an art therapist. She wants to help others find their voice, as she did through painting. The memory of the basement remains, but it no longer defines her. Her story is one of resilience, a reminder that hope can survive even in darkness. Lily's survival was not just luck, but a testament to her strength. She kept tapping, believing someone would hear. Her journey is a message: even in the darkest night the sun will rise. A life once lost can always be found, and sometimes the bravest thing is to keep hoping.